Hello, good morning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Ice Cream Uploads here on Monday, the 14th of June. It's E3 week, or it has been for the last, 4 days now, where they all seem to be merging into one. That start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and don't finish until midnight, which is what time we finished our streams last night. But yeah, welcome. We are right in the midst of it. We've still got 2 more days left, so we've got today and we've got tomorrow. I mean, that's 2 days right there. And I think there's Wednesday as well, but I don't think we're going to be covering anything from them. So yeah, I mean, welcome. You're all familiar with what we do over here, but just for the sake of Graham not being here and me running this on my own today, I'll do both my bits and Graham bits just for you guys that listen to the podcast services, as well as on our YouTube on-demand services, and maybe on Twitch, but I know a lot of you guys just watch on YouTube later anyway. So welcome everyone. We are Ice Cream Uploads. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves, and we're bringing you the daily dose of news from around the world of video games. My name is Bibby. I am not joined by Graham Day just yet. Later on this evening, he will be back, hopefully. But yeah, we give you our thoughts and impressions of the breaking news stories, as we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. And you can share those with us on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every weekday at 10 a.m. It's important that you do that as we turn this live show into an on-demand podcast that goes out on ICU YouTube around an hour or so after it goes off air, then a little later in the day on audio versions of podcasts that are available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Google Play. On-demand listeners get to pause, rewind, and fast forward, but they don't get to add to the on-air conversation. So if you are watching on Twitch, be sure to say hello in the chat before we jump into the news. We have a few talking points. Yes, again, we are still in the E3 world. We will be going live today. I think it's on Nico's channel at 6 o'clock, 6:15 actually, for the Take-Two conference. And then we also have Capcom later on this evening at about 10:30. We finish our E3 coverage tomorrow with the Nintendo Direct. We understand it's going to be about 45 minutes. There is the Treehouse afterwards, which we've heard is about 3 hours. I can guarantee you now, I will not be doing the Treehouse stuff for 3 hours. That is not happening, because it's just going to be a load of waffle. I had to sit through the Koch one for 2 hours. I'm never doing that again. I'm Bagsy not doing the Koch one next year. Put it that way. But the on-demand, the Nintendo Direct is going to be fire. We're going to see some bangers from that, I imagine. So yes, we will be giving you coverage over on that. I'm going to find the link to the tweet that has all the URLs, all the times, and all the conferences that we still have yet to cover, which, as I explained, we've still got 3 of them. I can't remember what channels they're all on. I'm sure the Nintendo one is on Show's channel tomorrow, and Nico covers the next 2. I'm just going to find that out for you. In fact, I think Show did his yesterday. But technical difficulties meant that we had to do it on ours instead. So yeah, it's actually Nico doing both today, and then we close out the show tomorrow with the Nintendo Direct. So I'm just going to stick that in the chat. So you'll be able to find out when it is we were going live and where with what. Shaggy's in the chat already. Lake was in here nice and early. I say nice and early. It was 11:10 when we went live this morning. As you can tell, I am fucking knackered. As well as we've just got so much work going on at the moment as well. So this show will be extremely brief, even though it's the story so far. We've still got so much content coming out over the next 2 days that it seemed pointless to go for everything in E3 so far, because one, you don't want to listen to just me waffling on about them. But we've still got so much. Take-Two have still got theirs to do. Capcom, we're hopefully going to see some more Resident Evil stuff, so I'll chew your ear off for about 45 minutes with that. And then obviously the Nintendo stuff, which if Ads is going to be appearing anytime soon, he will just be saying Switch Pro announced with Zelda in 4K anytime soon. So this is kind of taking the best bits of the weekend, in my personal opinion, for you guys that may have not joined us over this weekend, because obviously the Euros is on. You don't want to be sat in your room when it's 26 degrees, listen to us talk about video games. You guys want this to digest this on the scoop, maybe while you're driving, you're going for a jog, you're walking the dog or whatever. So I'm going to try and bring you the stories I found personally interesting, and we'll go through those. Tito was in here nice and early saying Graham slacking. No, he's not well this morning, as far as I know, so hopefully he'll get better as we go along. A few paracetamol, a few, I'm not going to go into anything else, but Yeah, he's not joining us this morning. He will be back hopefully later on. Gary's in the chat, says, all right, babe, how's it going, Shaggers? How are we doing? So yeah, I feel like we've done the waffling bit at the beginning. You know where to find us. You know you're watching us right now live on twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. Let's move into the first news article of the day. It was an all-encompassing one. It was like E3 the story so far. So I've kind of got to choose which ones I want to go with. So which one do I think is probably the biggest story of them all? It's got to be the Microsoft one, isn't it? It's got to be Microsoft. This is what we're going to go through.
Stay frosty, yeah?
Madge, with the
I sup hello ape sub I sup let's go opracy yes man theva 2 sub hypopracy sub.
with all the emojis. Oh, hello, sub hype, let's go. Yes, man, hype. Is that sub hype? Sub hype and sub hype. So we've got all the emotes. Madge, thank you very much for your subscription. We very much appreciate it, brother. I hope that you're doing well. Hope that you're looking after yourself. I'm going to take a quick swig of my drink because we've talked so much over this weekend. Like yesterday was like a full 6 hours back to back. I've just got the dries. My throat is in bits. So I need to keep that. I need to keep the old mouth hydrated for as long as I possibly can. Otherwise, you ain't hearing me tonight. But anyway, first news story of the day, and this is written on Eurogamer by Wesley Yin-Poole, states that Microsoft's impressive list of Xbox Game Pass games just got even better with the subtitle saying deal in. Microsoft confirms a number of games for Xbox Game Pass in 2021 and beyond during its E3 show. Today, the 13th of June, Yakuza Like a Dragon hits Xbox Game Pass. This one leaked yesterday. On the 22nd of June, Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance comes out as a day one Xbox Game Pass title. We knew about this one already. Yes, we did. We cannot wait to be able to play it. Microsoft's Flight Simulator is an Xbox Game Pass title for consoles on the 27th of July, and on the 29th of July, The Ascent comes out as a day one Xbox Game Pass title. We already knew about that. Every time he's put a hyperlink in, he just wants to be able to fling over to another article, so I'm going to not talk about the hyperlink stuff because it doesn't make any sense. Here's one that we didn't know about. The wonderful Hades hits Game Pass on the 13th of August. 12 minutes launches into Game Pass on the 19th of August. Psychonauts 2 is down for a Game 1 day pass on the 25th of August. Origami 2 hits Game Pass on the 17th of September. Sable follows the 23rd of September. I gotta probably butcher this. The Ananacrusis is down for Game Pass in autumn, as is Scorn. Get Back for Blood is the conference that we missed yesterday with Warner Brothers. We didn't miss much. It was just talking about the PvE and PvP elements of that game. If you already know what Back 4 Blood is, you didn't really get much more from it apart from what it's going to look like. But that's going to hit Game Pass on the 12th of October. The 28th of October sees the Age of Empire 4 come out and launch onto Game Pass. Forza Horizon 5 comes out on the 9th of November, as you'd expect from a first-party game. Enters Game Pass on day one. Shredders then hits Game Pass in December. Halo Infinite is down for the holiday 2021. And of course, launches onto Game Pass. Listed as 2020 for the Game Pass are Among Us, Hello Neighbor 2, and The Gunk, and that's where we revealed for Game Pass in 2021 during Microsoft's E3 show. But of course, there are 2022 games coming to Game Pass as well, which are, get hype, The Outer Worlds 2, Stalker 2, A Plague Tale Requiem, all are day one Xbox Game Pass titles. So are Starfield, Redfall, which looked amazing, by the way. If you haven't seen the Redfall trailer, please go and watch that one. That probably is going to be one of that, and Stalker 2 was my favourite from that show. Contraband, Party Animals, Atomic Heart, Somerville, Slime Rancher 2, Iodian Chronicle, 100 Heroes, and Replaced. A pretty impressive lineup. Now, there we go. So for you guys that are watching this live or on demand, you'll be able to see a full list of all of the games that have been stated for available today, which was yesterday. So you've got Dishonored, Doom, The Evil Within 2, the Fallout series, including 1, 2, and 3, Wolfenstein, Rage, and like it mentioned in the article, Yakuza. So I think there was 32 games overall that were available on Game Pass right throughout the year and the beginning of next year. That is huge. Like, if you didn't already have Game Pass just on your console and you have a PC, having Game Pass Ultimate, is an absolute steal. I know that you can see the little icons on the top here. Some of those are available on consoles, some of them are not. This one's just available on PC, and then Dishonored, for example, is available on your console, your PC, and I think it's mobile as well. Is that the other icon? I can't quite make out what it is. It could be, I think that might be the enhanced one actually, so you can play it on your Xbox One as well as Xbox Series X and S. So you have all of these available to be able to play for the little small price that you could. It's the price of a Netflix subscription, put it that way. So this is essentially your Netflix of consoles, and you arguably can't get a better value in video games, genuinely, because of how many you're able to play between now and xCloud. You see, Tito, have you got a 5G connection? Because I have. I've just spat on my microphone. Bit of gauze come out the top of me straw, then just went right over my coat. I have the Razer Kishi right here. I have a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi connection in the house, and for me, the xCloud doesn't seem to work as well as it should do. Even if I drop down to my 4G connection, it doesn't quite work. But it doesn't work as well as I want it to. So I do get like heavy lag spikes on my Razer Kishi. Not in terms of the controller. I mean, like trying to stream the games. It just doesn't seem to work in my house that well. It didn't work when I was in the office either. So yeah, I hope xCloud comes a little bit better. I mean, it may just be, it works well on my 5G Wi-Fi. It doesn't seem to work that well on mine, and I've got 5G Wi-Fi as well, so I have no idea. It may be something that we can try and sort out. I mean, I have 70 downloads, 70 megabyte download. My voice is absolutely killing me, by the way. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's absolutely killing me. Make sure you have your 2.4G and 5 gigabytes bands are separated. That's probably what I'm doing wrong then. That is probably what I'm doing wrong, so I'll have to look at that one later on. But yeah, the story so far is if you didn't already have Game Pass, if you didn't already have the ability to be able to play xCloud on your phone or on your PC or your console, there is something for everyone, and there will be some console sellers for you there. Not to mention, obviously, Halo coming on for Forza Horizon 5 later on this year, as well as Stalker next year, which looked phenomenal. Pioneer is obviously going to be something that we saw in the PC gaming show. I don't know if that's going to come to console. I can't see it, but all of these games are, to a degree, a console seller. If you are into those types of games, so yeah. We've got a long way to go yet. As I say, we've still got 3 more conferences, so hopefully we'll be able to give you more stuff on that. Moving swiftly on to our next story. Madge says, sounds rough as, baby. Get some of them lemon pockets in you. I've got a load downstairs, actually. They might have sherbets, so it's not quite the same thing, but we'll see. By default, they're in the same SSID. Splitting them out will make sure you don't use 2.4 gigahertz. You can go into your router and separate them. I will do that. I know I've got the 5 active. And on my phone, it does say that the 5 is active as well, but like you say, if I separate them out and choose different channels, that should be okay then. So I'll take your advice and I will do that. Let's move on to the next news article. We have got... Let's go with this one. This one caught me a bit left field yesterday, and it did with the rest of the chat as well. This is written on Eurogamer by Wesley Yin-Poole, and it says, here's our first look at the Black Panther in Marvel Avengers. Square Enix has shown off the Black Panther expansion for the Marvel's Avengers. During its E3 showcase, Square Enix released a new cinematic trailer that gives us a look at this upcoming free expansion. Black Panther must defend Wakanda from Claw, who seeks to steal vibranium for his own desires, reads the official blurb. The Black Panther War for Wakanda expansion comes out in August. Now, there's been a lot of shit being talked about the Marvel Avengers game, and a lot of sense, rightly so. I don't think it's the game that we wanted, but it's the game we've been dealt. It's the hand we have to deal with. Now, this trailer looks dynamite, and I think having this Black Panther universe is going to be great as well, because obviously it's not just about the characters, it's also about the place where they are, obviously in Wakanda, and all the technology that goes along with it. So I imagine this may be a small direction change for the way that the game is. I imagine it's going to add a lot of new elements in that you potentially haven't seen before in the original Marvel Avengers game. I say original, obviously it's live service, so when the game come out, the standard version of the game, I imagine there's going to be a lot of elements in this that will change, obviously with the character's actions and what's available to him and the people that are around him. This looks cool. This looks very, very cool. I like the fact that they move in the scene so you actually go into Wakanda, because they could have easily just brought the Black Panther in to what's already there, and then just had him as a null playable character. Very much like, what's the Marvel game? Is it Marvel Omega or Marvel Origins that came out on the PlayStation 4, when it was just, you could play as a load of different Marvel characters, but it was all doing the same thing. It was just dungeon crawler-esque. So I like the fact that they're giving you new maps to be able to play through. This is fantastic. The trailer looks great. Is this the kind of content, though, that is going to make you want to play this game or boot it back up again? Because the storyline's probably fantastic, but the end game stuff is where it falls down. And I'm talking on behalf of Asim. I'm talking on behalf of Nico as well, because both of those during the conference yesterday said this potentially may make them want to be able to play the game again, but for not much longer. So you play through the story once, and then the end game stuff that usually goes on to bigger and better things, and you can do upgrade your characters, blah blah blah. You know all these live service games all have end game stuff. Is this going to make you want to continue to play? Is this just going to be the 5-6 hours worth of content and then nothing? I don't know, but it's for free. You can't argue with the Freemans ever. You never, ever, 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 ever. And it says, yo, Tito says, got Avengers, don't care. Don't care. I want to, but I don't. Madge says, feels bad for the people who are working on Avengers. The Black Panther expansion looks class, says Gary Clark. Tito says, I'm genuinely surprised they are still supporting it with the player count as low as it is. Maybe they think that this is going to try and boost it back up again, because obviously he is a very popular character. So this could be the thing that brings people back in, or lapsed players into the game again. I'm not too sure. So I'm taking a drink there. Lake says, I like the movies, but I simply don't care about the games. Tino says, it'll bring people back briefly. You hit the nail on the head. Endgame stuff is lacking. The game should have never been released as a live service game. You see, that's interesting you said that, because I'm going to move on to the next news article in a minute, because I think this is where the stark contrast comes into this. Enix says, gas games die when their player base die. This game died in a week. Wasn't the lowest on PC for like 5 players. Yeah, it's a massive yikes. But I'm going to move on to the next news article anyway. I'll bring my face back on the screen again so I don't potentially spoil it for you guys. You probably know where I'm going with this, as I give a nice little segue in. Is it on? There we go. That's the one. There we go. VGC. Tom Ivan writes, Eidos Montreal's Guardians of the Galaxy is a single-player, story-driven game. What did you just say there? What did you just say there, Tito? You got your wish. Cross-gen console and PC game will be released on October 2021. Square Enix has announced a new Guardians of the Galaxy game developer, Eidos Montreal. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy reveal opened the publisher's Square Enix Presents software showcase on Sunday. The single-player, story-driven, third-person action-adventure title, Jesus, that's a mouthful, will be released on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, as well as PC on October the 26th, 2021. That's very soon. It sees players take on the role of Star-Lord and wielding his elements, blasters, as well as his unique powers and crewmates. I'm just going to press play on this. I mean, the first look stuff, it does go on for a while. For those of you that watched the conference yesterday, it was the main part of their presentation. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy has been worked on in a collaboration with Marvel Entertainment. Square Enix said, who will provide an original and authentic experience inspired by over 50 years of Guardians of the Galaxy lore. Influenced by the comics, this unique spin on the Guardians of the Galaxy will place players in a riotous journey across the stars as Peter Quill and the Guardians unintentionally become the galaxy's first and last line of defense. Is that Men in Black reference? The publisher said. Square Enix provided a 10-minute first look at the gameplay in the video above. Fire up Star-Lord's jet boosters for a wild ride across the cosmos in this third-person action-adventure, as well as a fresh take on the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, reads the blurb accompanying the reveal trailer above. With the unpredictable Guardians at your side, blast your way from one explosive situation to another, with the original and iconic Marvel characters caught in a struggle for the fate of the universe. You got this, probably. Eidos Montreal creative collaboration Bill. I'm just going to pause that a second. We'll scroll down. Eidos Montreal collaborative collector Bill Roseman, VP creative at Marvel Games, and comic book artist Dan Abnett also provide an inside look at the game's development in the video below. The Eidos Montreal team are honoured to have the opportunity to work on such an iconic franchise alongside our trusted collaborations at Marvel's Entertainment, said David Afonso. Sorry, my nose is bummed up now. It's just getting worse as we go along. Our teams are known for revising IPs and bringing their own twists and crafts to the stories as well as surrounding them. As you'll experience, it's no different from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel Games head Jae Ong added, "We are thrilled to collaborate with Eidos Montreal, knowing that they are the team that can deliver this core promise." Promise. The teams are laser focused on our vision, and our beloved band of misfits shines in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. We are excited for our fans to play this in October. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've just been talking about what happened with the Avengers game, with it being a live service game, and what comes with being a live service game. If it's a live service game, I know I've said that. Live service. If it is a live service game, it needs to have content being pumped through it left, right, and centre. You cannot expect your player base to stick around to do the same thing over and over and over again with no end goal. Is this the way that they should have done it originally? Now, this is a Guardians of the Galaxy game. It looks amazing. Might be pushing it out there a little bit too much, but it looks fantastic. It looks great. It looks like a highly playable game. It looks like you have skill trees. It looks like you do get loot when you kill someone. You get XP to be able to level up your character so it gets stronger and it gets better. You only play as Star-Lord by the looks of it, and it's what they've stated. I don't know whether or not later down the line you get to play as any other member of the Guardians. So, is this what they should have done first of all with the Avengers? They should have given you a couple of characters and then you could possibly have the DLC and the lore around a particular character later on down the line, rather than it just being a live service game constantly. I'm not too sure. But for what it is so far and for what I've seen for the Guardians game, it looks fantastic and it's probably the direction that they should have gone down originally with the Marvels game. Going back through the chat then, again, as I said, this show is going to be briefer than you will ever know. We'll get this wrapped up soon, I reckon, before I faint. On life support, Tito says Magic, the game is doomed as a forever catch-up mode unless Square Enix are prepared to fund it despite the low numbers. Enix says, seriously, after Square's show last night, FF Remake and FF, is that 15? Is that the MMO? Are keeping them on life support. Madge said, yup, should have been a local co-op and online co-op for the story action game. Tito says, I am all over this as he shouts from the top of the rooftops. Standard live service, promise the earth, announce a roadmap, rush release, panic firefighting, delay roadmap, cause of bugs, lose players because there's no content, announce the game is dead. Tito says, doesn't Widow Montreal do the Do It Day X games? I thought it was Square that did them. Oh, Eidos, there we go. Eidos Montreal. You know what? You could be right there. You could be right. Lake said Square Enix was also was awful, simply horrible, bad. You guys got short memories. We're also old enough to have seen it many times before. I hope they do it with Thanos inevitable. Can Drax go invisible though? After buying the Division 2 Anthem, Marvel Avengers, and Outriders, I've finally learned my lesson. Maybe. Who knows, because this actually looks fire. Guardians game screams standalone sequel to what Avengers should have been. Exactly. Maybe this is the type of content that should have been in the Marvel Avengers game, but they actually thought, no, this is probably too good of an idea to waste on a game that doesn't have a player base. So they're just branching it off and doing their own thing, because the combat looks exactly the same. Like, can I fast forward this to a combat bit? Like, look at this. The combat looks exactly the same as what was actually in the Marvels game. So, was this an idea too much for them? Was this idea too good to waste on a game that they are struggling to try and find players for? I think you could argue that is the case, which is unfortunate for them. They've probably pumped so much money into the Marvel Avengers game and not had the return because it's lackluster in so many different departments that people don't want to give it the time of day. It's unfortunate for them, but I mean, this could be the turning point for them. This could be, okay, we've got a Guardians game. What do we do next? Okay, we could potentially bring out something like an Iron Man game. Like the Spider-Man game's already out and it's thriving. It's fantastic. It's everything that you'd want from a Spider-Man game. But does that mean then that they end up rebooting a Incredible Hulk game or a Captain America game? I don't know. I don't make the decisions, but this could be something new for them going forward. If it does well, I think it will, because the humour was still there, but obviously they haven't got the character models from the film, and it hasn't got like Chris Pratt that you'd come to expect from being Star-Lord, and Drax doesn't look as chiseled as Dave Bautista does. So, yeah, I mean, the voice actors did quite well. That was in there, like Rocket sounds like Bradley Cooper, the impression of Rocket. So, yeah, I don't know. I suppose we'll wait and find out. But again, moving the show on, this is going to be like a 25-minute episode. This is the fastest we're ever going to get them out. But anyway, moving forward on our last news article of the day, this actually didn't get covered so far on E3. I know I've said this is the E3 so far. This is the first time I've seen this morning, and I don't know whether or not you guys already know this, so this could be interesting. Moving into the news. Written on VGC by Don Peppiatt, Godfall is coming to the PS4 in August. Looter slasher Godfall is only available on PC and PS5 at the moment, but the game has just been announced for PlayStation 4 too, as they with the Switch Pro announced. Godfall is perhaps best known for middling the PS5 console launch exclusive, but that description of the game isn't going to hold for much longer. Publisher Gearbox has announced it's coming to PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 version of the game will launch on October 10th alongside a free update for the game on PS5 and PC. This new update will introduce the Fire and Darkness expansions for the title, which will introduce new cosmetics and new experiences. We've heard that game might be coming to the PlayStation 4 previously, thanks to a Rogue PEGI rating that was seen spotted back in April. The trailer for the new update is below. It's not really surprising that we're seeing the game move away from the PlayStation 5, as per a note on the title launch trailer. It had a 6-month exclusivity deal for the PlayStation 5 and PC via Epic Games Store, which expired on May the 12th. The game didn't review too well, though, when it launched in November 2020, with most scores coming fairly low. Some impressive visuals and solid combat makes Godfall fun to hack and slash, but it's only going to get more memorable for its release date. Our own Tom Ori said in his Godfall review, "Here's hoping a second life on PlayStation 4 can turn things around for the game." So, did anybody see this coming? I'll tell you this now. The PlayStation 5 has done really well in its sales so far. Every single time that the console launches come out around the world, it has been sold out straight away. Godfall does not strike me as a title that a lot of people are going to pick up for launch day. There are so many other options out there for you to be able to pick up. So, if you have 120 million PlayStation 4s out in the wild, you've already... I mean, I have a PlayStation 5. I liked to look at this and I didn't pick it up. I stayed away because of how bad the reviews were. That isn't usually my vibe. I would usually pick up the game and play it for my own benefit and just to see whether or not I like it, because my taste in games is completely different to a lot of people's games. I stayed away from it. But there are 120 million more people out there now that potentially were waiting to be able to play this game, to pick up their PlayStation 5, that haven't been able to do so. They can now pick this up on the PlayStation 4. I don't know whether or not it's going to have a free PlayStation 5 conversion. That doesn't make sense for me, for them to be able to do that if they've already had the PlayStation 5 versions out there. But they're going to pick this up on the PlayStation 4 now, and it's a lot more people to potentially play the game and like the game, review the game better. There's an expansion coming out for it with brand new things to be able to do. This is potentially the second lifeline that they needed to get this over the line. If even a quarter of the amount of install base that they have for the PlayStation 4 picks this game up and they like it, then I can see this potentially having a sequel and then the game becoming something completely different. Not in terms of the combat or the story or anything like that. I just mean that they will focus more on what people actually liked from the game rather than just throwing it out and hoping that something sticks. So I think this is a good move for them. As I said, as we've mentioned before, if you're making a PlayStation 5 game and you want to bring it out on your PlayStation 4, you look after the PlayStation 5 version first and then work on the assets to strip out what you don't need or that can make it runnable on PlayStation 4. They've done that now, and we are 8 months after the fact. So this is the perfect time for them to be able to try and get this game out and see where we end up with it. I think, in my heart of hearts, this will do a lot better on the PlayStation 4. I think the play base over there, even if you took out 10 million of those that are massively into hack and slash, dungeon crawling, loot taking games, I think you might do well if the storyline hits. We haven't heard more good things about it, but hey-oh, it is what it is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know I said that this was going to be a short show, and we are a half an hour into it. I'm doing it on my own. Usually, it's about 45 minutes. And it says biggest regret buy on PlayStation 5. The game is dreadful. Yeah, that's fair enough. Everyone has their opinions. But yeah, I know that usually when we do a dollop, it's 45 minutes. But as you can tell, I'm struggling. So I will call this now. We will be back later on this evening on Nico's channel about 6:15, I think it is. So we may go live before then. We're looking at about 6 o'clock. We're going to go live. I'm going to try and sort myself out before then. But we will be going live again on this channel tomorrow at 10 a.m. for whatever roundup it is for today's stuff. As I said, it is Take-Two and it is Capcom. So we will probably have some Resident Evil stuff in there, as well as other things that you may end up liking. But yeah, that is it for today. If you do have any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, there's 2 ways to get involved with us. First of all, find us on social media at Ice Cream Whittles across all major social media platforms, as well as getting in our Discord. If you put the link plus if you put the URL plus your thoughts and impressions, we will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time? Tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day, 10 a.m. ish. So yes, we will be live tonight. It's Let's Play Nico. Let's Play Nico, I think it is. Let me just work this one out, and I can drop it into the chat, because that's where we're going to be. We will be posting tweets out, obviously, as well, that we are live over at Nico's channel. But for you guys that may not already have it to hand, I'm just going to drop his link into the chat for you now. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you get the notifications on, because you'll be notified when we do go live. I know Tito has the notifications on this channel, and he only finds out about 10 minutes after the fact. But yeah, get the notifications on there. We'll be live around 6 p.m, just in time for the Take-Two conference later on. But ladies and gentlemen, as we like to close our show, there is 2 things that I want you to do. First of all, you need to look after yourselves. And second of all, you guys need to stay frosty.